Hey guys, Game Hunter here, and well, this is the last part of Meritous, and well, I'm already pretty far, very close to where I need to be, and I've explored as much of this as I want to at this point. I think I've killed all the monsters that are available. Since all of the rooms that I didn't explore are unavailable at this point, and there seem to be a lot of monsters holed up in those rooms, it makes sense that I wouldn't quite have a 100% completion rate there. So, that's the max stats I'll be getting for this point. And I suppose that means that we'll have to fight this guy at not quite maximum, but if I recall, I wasn't at maximum fighting him the first time either, and I managed to win anyway. If you notice, this place gets very, very red as you approach Mr. Super Boss. Now, I'm just trying to think if there's anything I need to explain about anything of the storyline or whatever, because right now we're kind of getting into, it's kind of weird because if I recall, this game has a huge plot thing either now or right after the boss. In any case, fighting this dude is really, really a large fight, so let me just take a big gulp of Big Keg here. Excuse me, his name's Bubba Keg. He stores 52 ounces of whatever I want. Okay. So, Wervin Anixel. Are you going to talk? There we are. Yes, right. So, our name's Merit, and I guess I will, because we haven't really had any of that for a good long while, I'll go ahead and read it to you guys. Anixel, so that's how it is. I assume you worked out a way of using the psi in this state. So, not happy with your allotted psi from the dome, you decided to render it in this form and take it all for yourself. What was your reasoning for doing this rash? Doing something this rash, though. There we go. All you seem to do is complain. That's what I've discovered through this, and it's definitely part of the reason I did it. I do creative things like this sort of punishment because it lets me better understand the nature of all the forces involved. It tells me that you, Merit, really do not have a clue how to relate to other psi users, and that for the most part, you're entirely self-absorbed. It tells me that, while psi users in general don't really get the ethos of the forces involved here, and that the rendered psi, as intelligent as it is, pretty much entirely understands it, though it was mistaken that the rendering of this form was intentional. Why do I feel like that was an incomplete sentence? I must have just said it wrong. Regarding that, by the way, that is the reason I thought you needed a punishment. Making ridiculously inefficient, wasteful use of the limited psi we have available wouldn't have been a problem if it was just the normal psi like we'd planned it to be. But you knew full well that psi users who wanted nothing to do with it were being greatly inconvenienced by usage clogging up the limited ley lines we have. That makes you an asshole, a deliberate prick to everyone in the world, because you thought you could get away with it, and that it wouldn't matter. Yeah, I always remember that the ending stuff of this game sounded so out of place, because you don't have any backstory, unless there was some kind of other readme that really got into it. I always found it weird that this discussion between the protagonist and the main boss is kind of explaining all this stuff without really having had any exposition prior. So, it's just weird. I don't know. It's just weird for me. I also take issue with this nonsense about your punishment being severe, because it's not. You can still use your psi as you used it before, to a similar level of effectiveness. I specifically allowed to this form of psi so that you couldn't complain that you couldn't use magic. Now, exiling you to the dome had multiple meanings. One was to effectively tell you, I don't think you have anything of value to do, so I'm putting you in a place where no one does anything of value. Well, that is kind of, would you call that, justice or something? Like fair punishment. It's like fitting the letter of the crime. I still think that, by the way. Another was, like I said, to see what you would do. Maybe you would actually cast something worth the psi then. Or maybe you would take the hint and just stop it for the week until I decided you had enough. But you couldn't do either of those things because all you do is to complain. I want you to take a look at yourself and ask you what you want to accomplish here, and what you think is keeping you here. Obviously, you have some attachment, even though you keep saying the new psi is worthless. This isn't true, of course. Atar Axia. You know, that's another thing. It's almost like the other bosses should have had words, and they don't. I don't know. I guess I'm fuming here. Anyway, Ataraxia really captures a good point here. For the most part, Psi users will find you extremely annoying because you continuously set yourself at odds with pretty much every kind of Psi usage but your own, and then complain about it. Do you want things to be different? They certainly can be. Even if I do change, then my Psi won't be good enough. That's bullshit. All the other Psi users seem to be on the path of figuring out how to just use it. You can too. Well, I think we're close to done. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have read this. But in any case, you get the idea. And I don't think this is a bad part to the game, because you can just skip over it if you really don't want to read it. I guess I always found this weird. Your punishment is up tomorrow. I'd only planned to do it for a week. Of course, you can continue complaining, and I may have to think of something else for you to do. But I'm not going to kill you. If you want to leave this mortal coil because you can't take it anymore, then leave. If you don't want to leave, then start working out your issues with the new Psi. I actually would love to help. And if you don't want to do that, then I'm sorry, but you're going to continue being useless at magic. Because the way you are now, it's not surprising at all that your Psi ability is as stunted as it is. And that kind of explains the whole why we just have like a weird 360 shield all the time and shoot 360 magic. It's because we kind of suck at using Psi. Go figure, huh? The tainted Psi must have driven even you mad with power. This is a blow I must strike for everyone, for humanity. And then that line is like, well, I guess, yeah, this huge expositional plot is just maybe just talking for no reason. I'll meet you at the point of diminishing returns. And so here we go. Here's our super battle. And trust me, it's rough. It really is. Although we can use the, at least for this first form, we can use this stuff pretty well right here. But look at that. I mean, I'm barely smacking this guy. And I do need to stay on my toes with regard to making sure I don't get hit, or even getting in the line of that fire, because that is some nasty fire right there. Like that. That was pretty nasty fire right there. Okay, so this is the battle, and well, whenever I get to a new form, I'll let you guys know. But if I end up dying at some point, then I'm not. Well, I'll show the deaths, of course, because that's always fun. But I'm not going to really show anything else until that point. Until I get then to a new form. And if you notice now, we got these crazy majiggers, these laser beams that kind of show up out of nowhere. So we gotta keep an eye out on for those while we go fight. Phew, Nelly. Yeah, I'm glad that I have upgrades from before, but man, this guy is rough. And keep in mind, this is just first form. This is first form. Now we get to see second form. And by the way, the final boss music, pretty awesome stuff right there. All in all, the music in this game was awesome. Really, it just was. I'm amazed that it could be as cool and retro, yet still sounding very atmospheric to this game. It really just brings me back to the days of kind of 8-bit DOS-styled renderings of music. And sure, orchestral is nice and all, but I guess I just have a nostalgia bone for that sort of crazy, goodness sounding stuff. Back when it was just battles versus battles, and oh my goodness, now we're dealing with stars. Oy, this is why I hate star bases, by the way. It's because of these attacks. And keep in mind, we still only got 3 health, so we need to be absolutely smart about keeping ourselves not getting hit whenever possible. So, okay, man, almost. And that should do it. Okay, third form. I don't remember which one's the last form. This might be last. Was that? Wait, what? Oh, jeez, don't tell me. Did I just? Man. Okay, well, I wasn't expecting it to be that easy. Whoops. Whoops. Oh man, wow. I remember that being a lot harder. Why was I... Well, now I'm genuinely interested in how I thought that was hard. Oh boy. Unfortunately, I'm a little tired to be laughing in a funny way, but I do find this rather amusing. Activating the sea will quickly unblock delay lines and allow the Psy to flow through the dome again. Remaining shadows. Anyway, you guys probably read that. The point is that, like, stuff happened. And so yeah, this is the big old Psy flow, and I'm all like, yes! Now let's go ahead and flood out the Psy into the world again. And that way everybody can start using really awesome Psy powers, and you know, World War 16 happens, and well, that's the sequel, I'm sure. So this has been Meritous. Merit released the locks on the Psy flowing through the dome, releasing the flow of the Psy into the atmosphere. The Orgus Dome was originally built to centralize the limited Psy available to everyone. However, this made the existing reserves more vulnerable to malicious Psy users. While other Psy users initially resented Merit for his rash behavior, they eventually adjusted to the decentralization. And then there was other text. So I'm sure if I had actually been reading that at reading pace, I would have been able to read that just fine. But in any case, you know, as a game, and solely as a game, this is a really good game. And even though I showed more or less the whole of it, there is in fact kind of a completionist bonus for exploring and killing everything in the game. And I think it says that. Oh yeah, normal ending. So I think it hints at like a special ending. And oh man, do I want to like go back and get the special ending? If I do, I will well, I'll do it some other time in my spare time, I guess. But and again, this is just awesome music. But yeah, again, I am almost in doubt that was a hard boss. Go figure, right? Go figure. But yeah, so the story is so weird because it only really shows up at the end, and it sounds like it really could have been cool, but there was like it was almost as if the creator either forgot or ran out of time and was setting a certain limit on how long it took to write it. I'd love to see a much deeper plot to this game, because this is the whole concept of Psy and just a completely new world of using things. And I'm just kind of talking a lot, but yeah, this has been Game Hunter playing Meritous, and let's hold on. There we go. And let's continue now. Continue brings me back here. So yeah, I would just have to start a new game at that point. So yes, this has been Game Hunter playing Meritous, and join me next time when we take a look at another game. A game that isn't, you know, runs along the category of not quite being so classic, but still meets the challenges and uniqueness of a roguelike. Although I gotta admit, the final boss here was not nearly as difficult as I remember. I keep saying that, I know. Perhaps the special ending has a much harder boss, which really makes me want to make part 11 just for that. But if I do, it'll be sometime later. So, in any case, until next time, guys, keep playing those roguelikes, and take care.